everyone, this is Noela reporting from the Nostradamus, 6 weeks since departure. Mission status remain unchanged, transporting Earth's preserved animals' DNA to the colony on planet Galilea. Cargo is secure and the ship is stable. Beginning log number 5 and now. This week I had planned to spend a good amount of time working on the script for Faceless Neil, but that didn't entirely go according to schedule. I ended up feeling a bit sick for about 14 hours, which slowed down things for more than I expected. Thankfully, David stepped in to watch my daughter for a while. That allowed me to sleep. At one point, he even tried to teach her to crawl, which turned out to be a little difficult in the zero gravity deck. As for the script itself, I've reached the stage where I need to reread the entire middle section and start rearranging scenes, adding more for the side story. It's that messy part of the writing process where you realize the pieces are there, but maybe not in the right order yet. I'm also thinking about treating the graphic novel version a little differently. I love storyboarding, so the comic might actually lean into that aesthetic, structured frame within the page, almost like a film sequence unfolding panel by panel. At this point, I still need to decide what book format makes the most sense, but realistically, if most people end up reading it digitally, the format might matter less than I originally thought. Since I wasn't writing as much this week, I ended up doing some more drawing instead. So here's a couple of time lapse of that. A big portion of my week went into a small animation project. I animated a magician pulling a rabbit out of sink, not a hat, specifically a sink. It's about 31 drawings in total. The pacing still needs some work, but these freelance gigs move pretty quickly, so I can't be too precious about every single frame. As long as the action reads clearly and the emotion comes through, that's the goal. So sometimes animation is less about perfection and more about the momentum. I ran into a similar creative block while working on Love at War. Composing comic layout has always been difficult for me. It almost feels like a mental block, honestly. I look at the page and nothing ever feels quite right. But while thinking about it this week, I realized something important. The story is heavily influenced by ballet and opera. The stage production are visually incredible. The sets are massive, layered, very theatrical, obviously. I watched an old transmission of Cinderella recently, and the opening set design just blew me away. It made me realize I should approach my page composition more like stage design, wide, layered landscape with frame within a frame feeling, which I always loved. Very similar to the visual approach used in the film Sleeping Beauty. That movie has always been one of my favorite. The music, the stylized background, the performance in the animation, it's just stunning. It's one of those work that I feel like never gets old. Instead of pushing the comic layout this week, I decided to run some watercolor test. I hadn't painted in a while, which I realized when I accidentally smudged part of the page because I didn't wait long enough for the ink to dry. Normally, I ink after coloring, but this time I experimented with waterproof ink first to see what that would look like and if it would be more convenient. The result was interesting, but the line work can still get a little lost under the watercolor, so it's probably not the perfect solution for what I want to do. I'll keep experimenting with color study until I find a technique that feels right. I usually have my own, but it's just about, making some tweaks and see if I can find something that feels really comfortable for like the aesthetic I want to reach. Aside from my brief illness earlier this week, everything on board is running smoothly. David continues to perform within normal parameter. Thank goodness. My daughter is apparently experimenting with new forms of zero gravity locomotion, so that should be interesting. And the cat remains unimpressed. AI pilot functioning within normal parameter, cargo stable, all passengers accounted for. This is Noela from the Nostradamus, signing off.